and Phil Dampier. Lady C, wow, what a moment we've seen tonight. What did you make of it?
Well, I thought it was very moving, the picture, and to have Princess Anne there as well. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And it's in the finest tradition, started, ironically enough, by King Edward VIII with his brothers to honour his father, George V. And I thought it was beautiful. I also thought, may I say, that the service today at St. Giles Cathedral and the whole of the proceedings were absolutely magnificent.
Phil Dampier, do you agree? Phil Dampier, do you agree?
Splash every sort of couple of hours, isn't there? And it was absolutely remarkable. What amazed me was the fact that as the royals stood around the coffin, members of the public were just walking past a few feet away. I didn't think that was going to happen. I assumed that they wouldn't be let in while it was going on. And to see them filing past just a few feet was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen in 36 years of royal reporting. But the other thing that struck me today, to be honest, was the extraordinary stamina that Prince Charles is displaying. He must be absolutely exhausted. This is a guy who turns 74 in a couple of months' time. And yet he was at Westminster Hall this morning addressing Parliament, flew up to Scotland, met people at Holyrood, walked behind the coffin on the way down to St. Giles, went back for another reception, met the First Minister, and then had the vigil. And it's absolutely remarkable the way that his schedule is going and the way he's doing it. So you've got to take your hat off to him. He's obviously decided to really go for it. He seems to want to meet as many people as possible. And I think it's working for him.
Lady C, it has been a pitch-perfect start to his reign, hasn't it? I mean, it was really interesting today, as Phil says, seeing how many folk he wanted to talk to in Scotland, how many ordinary people he had a real desire to get up close and personal, which is exactly what we saw outside the gates of Buckingham Palace too.
Yes, but sorry, Charles has always connected with all sorts of people, and he's always been a complete workaholic. He gets up early in the morning, he has breakfast, he works through, he never has lunch, he meets with Queen Camilla for tea if they're together, he goes back to work, he has dinner at 8:30 to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock he leaves dinner wherever he is and goes and works until 12 or 1 o'clock, sometimes even 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, he has this constitution of an ox, but so did both his parents. I mean, to that extent, he's been very lucky. He's inherited very good genes from both his parents, both of whom were extremely hardworking as well. And it has to be said, both of whom were also extremely involved on a daily basis with as many people, ordinary people, as well as people of note, as they could possibly be.
Phil Dampier, of course, there was that uncomfortable moment during the procession where there was a heckler who interrupted proceedings. Specifically, he was, of course, referring to Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew also today wasn't able to wear military uniform. You're one of the journalists who knows Prince Andrew best. You've covered him for many years. How difficult would today have been for the disgraced Duke of York?
I think it would have been difficult, but he was doing his duty as a family member, you know, and he was with his siblings and very much part of the family. I'm sure that's how it's going to be in the next few days and indeed at the funeral. The fact that he won't be able to wear his military uniform except possibly at the vigil won't come as a great surprise to him. He's no longer a working royal. They've made that fairly clear that there's no way back for him at the moment, certainly in the immediate future. I don't know if there is long term or not, but certainly not in the immediate future. And so I don't think any of it comes as a surprise to him, but nobody can begrudge him as a son of the Queen from being at the heart and centre of all these events. But the fact that there was this heckler just goes to demonstrate the problems that his reputation now has, and he might get this sort of abuse quite often in public, and it just really sort of highlights. I mean, nobody really likes people heckling like that, but it does highlight the problem.